Welcome back, Cowboys Nation, to the one and only place where the voice of the Dallas Cowboys fanbase echoes with unmatched passion and pride. Cowboys fans. This isn't just another YouTube show or a casual segment thrown together to fill airtime. This is where the pulse of our community beats the loudest, where your thoughts, your fire, and your unfiltered takes set the tone for what it means to bleed blue and silver. Today, we're diving headfirst into a whirlwind of breaking news, fan-driven mailbag questions, super chats, super thanks, and shoutouts that prove one thing: Cowboys Nation is alive, loud, and ready for the 2025 season. Buckle up, because we're about to unpack a firestorm of opinions, debates, and the raw, unfiltered truth straight from the heart of this fanbase. Let's get to it. First off, we've got to kick things off with a massive shout-out to one of our most loyal supporters, Monty Palmer, better known to the Cowboys fans community as Godway. This legend dropped a jaw-dropping $15 super thanks. And let me tell you, Monty, your support doesn't just keep the lights on, it fuels the fire that keeps this show burning bright. As a thank you, you're officially entered into our George Pickens jersey raffle. And folks, this isn't just any raffle. This is a statement. It's for the diehards, the fans who ride with us through the highs of a blowout win and the lows of a gut-wrenching loss. For those who don't know, a $5 super thanks or super chat gets you in on this action, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. We've already given away one jersey in the first half of the summer, and we're gearing up to do it again in the second half. This is for the fans who show up rain or shine, win or lose, and carry the star on their hearts no matter what. Monty, you're a real one, and we're beyond grateful for you. Now, let's shift gears from gratitude to grit, because Cowboys Nation doesn't just show love, we bring the heat. William Cook came in hot with a $5 super thanks and a take that's got the whole community buzzing. The Cowboys need to sign a one-technique defensive tackle before even thinking about addressing the quarterback situation. That's a bold stance, William, and it's got merit that's worth diving into. I had an absolute blast debating this very topic with RJ on Blocking the Boys, where we broke down the state of the Cowboys roster and what moves could take this team from playoff hopefuls to legitimate contenders. Let's be real, the Cowboys have needs on both sides of the ball, but William's point about prioritizing the defensive line hits hard. Right now, the secondary is a concern with key players like Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland sidelined by injuries. Depth at cornerback is thin, and while names like Stephon Gilmore or Kendall Fuller could patch things up in the defensive backfield, finding a reliable one-tech DT is like searching for a diamond in a coal mine. The defensive tackle market isn't exactly overflowing with game changers. You're either sifting through aging veterans like Linval Joseph, who might still have some gas in the tank but come with durability concerns, or you're rolling the dice on unproven talent with high upside but no guarantees. That's a risky proposition for a defense that can't afford to gamble. The Cowboys' front seven needs a dominant force in the middle to clog lanes, eat up blockers, and free up playmakers like Micah Parsons to wreak havoc. Without that anchor, the entire defensive scheme feels like it's built on shaky ground. Compare that to the cornerback position, where a serviceable veteran can be slotted in to stabilize things, and you start to see why Williams' take carries weight. A game-ready DT isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Chasing one feels like chasing a unicorn, but if the Cowboys want to compete with the NFL's elite, they need to find one, and fast. Speaking of bold takes, Max Finnegan dropped a $10 super chat and hit us with a hypothetical that's got the whole fan base talking. Would you rather have Jalen Tolbert become an all-pro and cut Tony Pollard, or vice versa? This is the kind of question that sparks heated debates in living rooms, barbershops, and group chats across Cowboys Nation. Both outcomes sound incredible on paper, but let's break down the impact. If Jalen Tolbert, the young wide receiver with untapped potential, ascends to all-pro status, you're talking about a game-changing weapon in the passing game. A dominant receiver like that stretches defenses, opens up the playbook, and gives Dak Prescott a reliable target to lean on. But let's flip it to Tony Pollard, the explosive running back who's been a spark plug for this offense. If Pollard becomes an all-pro, you're looking at a ground game that can control the clock, keep defenses honest, and take pressure off the passing attack. Here's where it gets tough. You can scheme around a good running game with play action, misdirection, and creative play calling. But a dominant, disruptive force at defensive tackle? That's harder to fake. If we're talking about Jalen Tolbert stepping up as a defensive tackle, assuming Max meant a defensive player like Jalen Carter, since Tolbert's a receiver, let's roll with that for the sake of the hypothetical. An all-pro DT transforms the entire defensive front. That kind of player clogs the middle, shuts down the run, and creates chaos that unlocks Micah Parsons to do what he does best, hunt quarterbacks. It makes life easier for linebackers, simplifies coverage for the secondary, and sets the tone for a physical, aggressive defensive identity. Losing a running back like Pollard would sting, especially in short yardage situations and red zone packages. But it's a pain the Cowboys could survive with a strong offensive line and a committee approach. Losing a nose guard of that caliber, though, that leaves a crater in the heart of the defense. With young players like Mazi Smith still developing and finding their footing, the defensive tackle room desperately needs an anchor. So if I had to choose, give me the all-pro DT and let me figure out the rest. Mazi Smith, the defensive tackle out of Michigan, was drafted to be a run-stuffing anchor in the middle of the defense. His rookie season was a mixed bag, with flashes of potential overshadowed by the growing pains of adapting to the NFL. If Smith can take that next step and become the dominant force he was projected to be, the Cowboys' defense becomes exponentially more dangerous. A reliable run stuffer in the middle forces offenses to play one-dimensional, making it easier for Micah Parsons and the pass rush to pin their ears back and attack. On the offensive side, Tyler Guyton, the massive offensive tackle, has the potential to be a bookend protector for Dak Prescott. If Guyton develops into a shutdown left tackle, he not only keeps Dak upright, but also opens massive holes in the run game for whoever's carrying the ball. That's the kind of championship-caliber development that could elevate this team from good to great. But it's not just about the high-profile names. The Cowboys' success in 2025 will hinge on the growth of players who've flown under the radar. Guys like Isaiah, Land, and Eric Scott Jr., who might not be household names yet, could be the glue that holds this roster together. These are the grinders, the special teams contributors, the players who bring energy and make plays in limited snaps. In the playoffs, it's often the unsung heroes who make the difference, whether it's a clutch tackle on special teams or a timely stop in a rotational role. If players like Land and Scott can step up and prove they belong, the Cowboys' depth becomes a weapon, and depth is what separates contenders from pretenders in January and February. Let's talk about the safety position, because CGW dropped a question in the mailbag that's got a lot of fans nodding in agreement. How's the safety depth looking for 2025? On paper, the Cowboys' safety room is better than most give it credit for. Players like Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson are a solid starting duo, with the ability to make plays in both coverage and run support. Behind them, Marist Lufo and Wanya Thomas provide incredible flexibility as the third and fourth options. Not many teams can boast that kind of depth at safety, and it gives defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer plenty of options to work with. Then there's Elijah Clark, a lesser-known name, who the Cowboys quietly like as a developmental piece. Clark could stick around on the practice squad and emerge as a contributor down the line, especially if injuries strike. Speaking of proving things on the field, let's talk about the man steering the defensive ship, Mike Zimmer. The arrival of Zimmer as defensive coordinator has sent expectations through the roof, and for good reason. This isn't just about calling plays or tweaking schemes, it's about reshaping the culture of this defense. Zimmer brings a no-nonsense, old-school approach that's been missing from Dallas in recent years. His track record speaks for itself. He's a master at getting the most out of aggressive physical defenders and he doesn't tolerate softness or mental mistakes. That's music to the ears of Cowboys fans who've watched this defense come up short in big moments, especially in the playoffs. But while the defense is grabbing headlines, there's a storm brewing on the offensive side of the ball that we can't ignore. The buzz around CeeDee Lamb's contract situation is getting louder, and it's not just idle chatter anymore. Lamb has been nothing short of sensational for this team, putting up numbers that rival the best receivers in the game. He's a legitimate game changer, the kind of player who can tilt the field just by stepping onto it. But the longer the Cowboys front office waits to lock him up with a long-term deal, the more leverage Lamb gains. The wide receiver market isn't slowing down, it's exploding. Every week that passes without a contract only drives up the price tag and increases the risk of a holdout or lingering tension in the locker room. This is a critical moment for the Cowboys front office. Lamb isn't just a star, he's the heartbeat of this offense. A prolonged contract dispute could disrupt team chemistry, erode morale, and create a distraction that derails the season before it even starts. The Cowboys are already walking a tightrope with a roster full of veterans chasing a ring and young players hungry to prove themselves. The last thing this team needs is uncertainty surrounding one of its biggest playmakers. The front office needs to read the room, secure their superstar, and show the kind of leadership that inspires confidence. If they let this situation fester, it could ripple through the locker room and affect everything from play calling to performance on the field. CeeDee Lamb deserves his payday, and Cowboys Nation deserves a team that's all in on winning. In 2025, enough is enough. The pieces are there. The roster is loaded with talent, from established stars like Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb to young up-and-comers like Mazie Smith and Tyler Guyton. The coaching staff, led by Mike Zimmer on defense, has the pedigree to get it done. And the fans? We're bringing the kind of passion that can move mountains. The only question left is whether this team can finally rise above the ghosts of its past. Will we see the breakthrough we've been waiting for? Or will we be left wondering what could have been? The answers are coming, and you better believe Cowboys fans will be here every step of the way, holding this team accountable and cheering them on with everything we've got. As we wrap up this breaking news segment, I want to take a moment to salute Cowboys Nation. You're not just fans, you're the heartbeat of this franchise. Your super chats, your mailbag questions, your super thanks, they're not just donations or comments. They're a testament to the love and dedication you bring to this team. Whether you're shouting out your takes on social media, debating roster moves with your buddies, or rocking your Cowboys gear with pride, you're the reason this team keeps pushing forward. We're not just chasing wins, we're chasing a legacy. So let's keep the fire burning, keep the conversation going, and keep showing the world what it means to be part of Cowboys Nation. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and let's go get that ring.